Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Christine McDowell, and I'm here with lovely Jacqueline Taylor. And we're going to talk about a very interesting topic.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, the infancy of intimacy. And the reason why we're doing this is because I had done a post on my We Ponder page, and and it was in relationship to relationships and how I find uh, the landscape towards relationships have changed. And Jacqueline had seen the video and she says, we need to talk about this. And I said, yeah, it's something that I think that needs to be spoken about more openly, because it, it's a very deep conversation about who you are. And just a wee little footnote, everything that we're sharing is only our perspective. It's what we feel as individual people, we feel to be true. Now, it may not be your truth, but maybe from that point you can pick up some information that might enlighten you. So,
Absolutely.
lovely Jacqueline,
Yes,
why don't you just take over and tell us where you are and why you feel this is such a deep and powerful conversation.
so, greetings, friends. My name is Jacqueline Taylor, and I'm so grateful to be signing on with Christine today. And the reason why it came so dear to my heart was because through the different living experiences in this physical reality, most people are so connected to intimacy in a way that is attachment, or in a base where they have to have another fulfill their own needs.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
And this has been through the ages for so long. And when we truly discover, I'm sharing out, so please share out. When you truly discover your true nature, you won't have to worry about someone else's truth or your own, because you will just intuitively know that direction, no matter what that is. If it's what you hear tonight or today or whenever you watch this replay, it's really owning your truth. Because the reason why we're in such an um,
Upside
infant
down.
yeah, upside down, backwards, and infancy stage of this is
Yeah.
because it is very taboo to talk about. Not too many people want to open up and explain whatever the trauma was, or um, the codependency that led them down that path of awakening, or that deeper understanding and knowing. And that's what I'm really excited, because
Yeah.
many
For me, it's one of the things that I did share was that I feel for myself that the landscape of intimacy has changed. And I think in speaking with friends, um, the thing that's pulling people now is, what does intimacy look like, and what are the emotions behind it? Because I think we're all emotionally driven, but I feel that um, where we get lost is that we're always trying to please someone,
Mhm.
and we forget that the only person that's important to please is yourself.
Or also to having someone please you, because a lot can get fixated in the different octaves that are
Right.
available. And with those landscapes, it's depending on how one would mend that garden, because really it's an internal connection with intimacy, regardless of your age, your um, religion, or even your gender, right? Because when we're looking at it from a full lens and perspective, we can see where another point of view is coming from, or where our own perspective is coming from, and giving us that voice to be that advocate, or to have that deeper understanding, to connect to intimacy in a way that's healthy rather than codependent or feeling separate from it. Because there's many different things that take place, right? With many different I don't want to go too specific, but you know the feeling I'm going with this, right? Like some of us think we have to do this to get that, or we have to be this
Right.
to do
But
this.
it's almost like a performance.
Yes, that's exactly it. Absolutely.
And for me, to me, sex was just sex. It was a control. It was more control for me than anything else.
Right,
But I haven't had a sexual partner in, since 2011.
right,
And when people hear that, they go, "What?
right. Because it's the
What's
norm.
wrong with you?"
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But you see, and I shared this with someone, and he said, "So why haven't you?" And I said, to me, when I share my space with someone, especially on a physical level where two bodies are coming together, it's a very deep, unique um, language.
Hmm.
And it's
And
a
a bond.
language, yeah, and it's a language that's taken me a long time to have the courage to speak.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the body doesn't only speak, but the mind does.
Yeah,
When two bodies are connected, that's a whole new mind field or energetic fields that most people aren't even conscious of because that intimacy or whatever that is can stem in many different facets. So if that comes more in a want or a need base, or if that's just coming together and having that holy sacred um, connection, right?
yeah,
That's for me. It's if I don't feel that inner spark within my heart, I won't go there. Where
right.
when I was much younger, it was okay. I
Oh,
gotta,
yeah, let's go do it.
yeah. You want to be my boyfriend? Like it was
Yeah,
all,
for 5 minutes. Okay, we can do this.
yeah, right, to justify it, or other things, right? And for me, what I found is this temple, this sacred temple that we have. It's not only teaching us; it's giving us the ability to listen
Right.
to those different ways about our heart and our brain and that coherence and allowing the body, regardless if it's courage we're looking for or it's the wisdom or the understanding, we will intuitively know that direction automatically. And I think that's
Yeah.
really collectively and individually, we're finding that even though we might be in these stages of the young stages, so to say, but really
Well,
we're,
it is.
yeah,
It is the intimacy of it, but it's the intimacy of it too.
absolutely, because we're learning through that infancy
Yeah.
how we're able to grow and expand and love oneself.
Well, that's the key, though, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Because you see, if you don't love yourself, I've always said this, if you don't love yourself, then please don't expect anyone else to do it for you because it ain't gonna happen. If
Absolutely.
they do, it's a flash in the pan. But I think that's what shifted so much with me is that the deeper that I got connected with myself, um, the more I began to stand in my truth, and I started to realize I needed to work with. So just back up a bit. For years, I lived in my male energy. I was in sales, so I had to fight to win.
Hmm.
And showing my vulnerability, I didn't know how because I didn't know how to be vulnerable.
Hmm.
So now, sorry?
At least as the divine feminine goddess.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yes. So what I had learned was how to integrate the two so that the male and female energies within me, woven together, play together.
Yes.
And then you fall deeper into your heart, and that's where you begin to respect yourself.
And love yourself even deeper than you even thought comprehensible or even imagined.
Yeah. So with somebody I was having this conversation with, and he said to me, he said, "Yes, but what if we don't have sex and it's 3 months into the relationship and we have sex and it's horrible?"
Right.
And I said, "Well, the worst thing is you have sex and it was horrible, and you're too afraid to talk about it or share how you feel, because then you feel that someone's going to judge you, because that's you judging yourself. It's like the dog chasing its tail, you know. So at some point, the longer you stay away from that type of connection, the deeper connection you have and will grow within your each other, within your hearts, so that if you come to that stage and something's not working, you will easily talk about it.
Yes, because you have that open-hearted connection. Oh, I lost everything for a second. You have that open-hearted connection. Can you still hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then you have that open dialogue. And that's truly where any relationship can grow and really learn from each other, and really be able to grow and expand, regardless if that's with yourself or another human being or another connection of all that you are. Hmm.
Yeah, to me, the deeper that you go within yourself, the more honest you become with yourself, then you can only be authentic with yourself and with anybody else. And you get to that point where you say, well, if that person isn't comfortable with this and they're, you know, they just don't want to play with that, with what it is you're asking, then you have a choice. You know, it's like, thank you very much, but next.
Yeah. And the universe will provide it. The more you open up your heart and open up that belief system, right? Because a lot have been fixated on absolute truths, which could be a complete false narrative. The world can shift instantaneously. It has to start within us. Absolutely. And I found the deeper I went, and the more I'm like, okay, bring this forward. It wouldn't just be one, it'd be like three. And I'm like, whoa, okay, navigate back in here, right? Because you want to be as kind as possible and loving, even though you can't be that role that person wants, or
Right.
to partake in something that is not, um, I feel, that for the highest version of who you are.
Yeah, the highest version, and you know, I think a lot of people struggle with that because a lot of the people are not sure what does that mean and what does that look like.
True, because
Um,
it's a paradox in itself. You think you have to search up high, when in actuality it's just diving deep within your core and really connecting to that true nature. And when you're connected to that true nature, it's like an intuitive knowingness. Your innate intelligence has the ability and agility to be able to use discernment and, a deeper understanding of what that A can mean, or many other B, C, D, E, F, G, right? Like, or how, what, where, when, why. We could go on for a long time. Yet it doesn't matter what anyone else's truth is. It's really what our own truth is, and that will allow us to be set free, rather than to be fixated on something that you never know, right? Like,
yeah, I think a lot of people are so stuck behind their entire life, and especially when it comes to um, intimacy, because it's so different now. It's a different kind of share of energy, um, and I think it allows you to be vulnerable.
mhm,
And we've been in a society that being vulnerable um, wasn't allowed, because you'd get gobbled up and spat out in a minute.
instantaneously.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right now, it's a little bit more different with pronouns and different other things that are happening and taking place in different levels. And I find really that, because the changes are happening little by little, but yet very fast at the same time. I don't know, for myself, I find it's like a sacred temples within me. And I know if I'm having that exchange sexually, it has to be honored in every part of me. It can't just be part of the one, or sorry, it can't be just one part. It has to be the part of the one, the whole, right?
Right.
And that's really for my own experience, because like that exchange is timeless.
Yeah, but also too, there's a lot of people out there who are single, like myself.
Yes.
And if I decided to wait for someone to, let's say, turn on my light, I mean, forget it. It just, I would have shriveled up and died somewhere. Um,
I know what you mean by that. I mean, like, okay, so for my own experiences, obviously no one
yeah,
else has.
you're a wee younger than me, sweetie pie.
Just a little bit. So, for me, I know nobody's gonna light me up inside the way I light myself up, right? That
Yeah.
sacred touch, that any of that, right? But for me, I can feel that person in my heart has been with me timelessly. If it's intimately or just a companionship, it's like you said, that communion
Yeah.
with the masculine and feminine, and I feel like that masculine is in this physical reality and form, and many others, right? And everybody's experiences are different, and for the longest time I was chasing that love, so to say, or having that love chase me, and now all I have to do is be that love. There's
Well,
no
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, that's why I had so much sex all the time because I was seeking for someone to love me, and damn, it didn't happen. You
Yeah,
know,
it
I
happens
didn't.
in a way, but not every way we wanted. Like,
No, well, you see, I never got that email.
well, I enjoy myself when I'm doing. Anyways, it's
Ah,
been a while, but it's I don't know. I find it's a whole new, like like even the touch, the everything, like all of our senses, like
yeah.
light right up in so many ways, uh, and even still, like, yeah, so many words to express and they don't want to come out.
Well, I find that it's interesting that sex is related to having orgasms, reaching the highest plateau that you possibly can reach. And I know for a fact, I know there are women out there that have never ever given themselves that pleasure. So just to back up a bit, you have been given this incredible body, and it's a temple. And if you can just get out of your head long enough to stop judging your beautiful self and start allowing yourself to experience what it is that you want to experience, because then if you don't know what you want, then how the hell do you expect someone else to? It's like the blind leading the blind, and you both get frustrated, and it's like, what? You
Yeah,
know? So you can send them an email and say, this is what I want. But no, but you see, when I feel, even
absolutely.
though I haven't had that type of relationship in a physical sense, but I feel that when you have that open communication with someone
Hmm.
and you're being brutally honest with yourself, and that's the other key, it's being honest with yourself.
Absolutely.
It's just there's so much that comes into play here, but it's being honest and giving yourself the permission
Yes,
to
that's the
enjoy yourself. It's your
most.
body,
Yes.
you know, explore
Absolutely.
it.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And there's many techniques that are out there already, right? There's getaways, there's all sorts of things. I've always like, huh, I could go deep into that, but that might be for another conversation.
Ah!
Yeah. My
Never put
imagination
off
goes.
today, never put off tomorrow what you can do today.
Well, I've always seen like us, like people connecting in like very open spaces that are completely nude, because their temples are just so pure in heart and body and mind that no matter the clothes or non-clothes or any of that stuff, everyone can be held in the highest regard in their own nature. Not that they have to be validated. Like, I remember when I first started trying to understand intimacy within myself instead of seeking it, that validation from another. I was like pulling up stuff of all sorts of stuff where this lady was teaching, you gotta look with the mirror, you gotta talk to your yoni, you gotta enjoy your yoni, you gotta love your yoni, and I'm like,
Take your yoni for a walk.
yeah, it's just have fun with it, right? And then I was like, really? I was like, my yoni's a flower? Oh my goodness, I have 1,000 petals on my head and 1,000 petals in my yoni. I was like freaking out. I'm like, and my heart. I'm like, these petals are, oh my goodness. And like, I just love enjoying myself. And that is like priceless. Because
Yeah,
for a
it's a
long
gift.
time,
It's a gift
yeah,
we can give ourselves.
that self love,
And it's a gift that keeps giving.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, I get so excited, and I can enjoy the communion with the one self, the masculine, the feminine within, and know that there's no validation needed outside of the the physical to be honored and loved and respected. That has always been that way, and it's I found for myself was respecting myself enough to use
Yeah,
that discernment and loving myself enough to know when to walk away from situations that no longer were helping or assisting or guiding me in my life or my journeys. If anything, it was doing other things, and that's when I know from my own experience, I had to step back and really tap into that infinite creation of Jacqueline, not just this finite version people see on this camera or the
yeah.
screen, right?
But it's again, it comes back to authenticity.
Absolutely. My motto is authenticity is the new currency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and and I think the other problem that people are running into is the judgment
For themselves.
for themselves, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, I was really good at that, you
Yeah.
know.
The justifications
Um,
of it.
oh, exactly. But you see, it's everything that we do for ourselves,
Yes.
only ourselves.
Yes.
It's not for someone else. The people you walk around with and talk around you are just mirrors
Mhm.
of you, of your needs, what needs to be addressed, and how to, you said it, Jacqueline. It was it's your temple.
Yes.
Your
There's
temple
many temples.
awaits.
Yeah. Well, that's it. There's many temples because we have the root energy, we got the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the high heart, the throat, the third eye, the crown. I see them all as temples.
Yes,
Because even though we have this one temple, this body, each part of our energy points are another connection to that landscape. Because when I was just sitting in that those the three lower chakras, I kept going into that sort of turning away from my light. Right, I just wasn't quite sure of it. There
yeah,
was no intimacy with myself or another person. I just couldn't comprehend it, let alone enjoy it. And then it got to an infancy stage where I was so scared of what I had to offer for myself and others that I shut myself out from the world for a long time. And then when I started connecting more to my heart and the temples within, that's when the aha, so to say, came to understand that any connection intimately, if that's including sex or not, has to be the core, honest truth of my true nature. It can't be something that's false or like it has to be as real as it gets.
yes.
Yeah.
And what you just said was beautiful because it's what it's what we've forgotten, and it's to really tell your lovely ego to go play in the traffic
Yeah.
and to stay in your heart and just give yourself the permission to enjoy yourself.
Yes.
And the beauty of that is that then you're not sitting there waiting for someone to do it.
No, because I was dating myself. I was taking myself out for breakfast. I was going here, there. Like I'm even thinking of taking a road trip because I'm like, it's time to have a good time, right? Because I get excited now
Yeah,
over the smallest things instead of sitting still and waiting for stuff to come because it will come automatically. It's
yeah, yeah,
magic.
totally.
Yeah.
Well, today I treated myself to the spa, and
Oh,
oh yeah, and it was just I haven't done it for a couple of months, but
yeah.
I just sat there and I said to the girl, I said, I'm doing this for my body because my body is really working hard to keeping me on this planet. And this is the least I can do to show gratitude to what my body is doing, you know? So, yeah, it's just, we are incredible beings of love and light, and you deserve the best.
And you have the
No,
ability to attract the best. And give yourself permission to, right? Because for a long time, people, I've known for myself, a lot of it was governed in fear and doubt for a long time because of any conditioning or experiences in the environment that I may have gone through. And for the longest time, I would hold on to that baggage, not realizing that it was interfering in relationships, and not just short term, long term ones. And as I've sat back and reflected through the different experiences, you really come to understand the bigger picture, so to say. Even though it doesn't seem that way in that moment, it gives us, like, for example, back in the day, I enjoyed, like we were talking about earlier. Now it's shifted because my awareness has become
yes.
more conscious of those choices, right? Or some people may not even have that consciousness or awareness with those choices.
But
So,
you know, the beauty of this is that when you walk into that space, the pressure's off of you.
yeah, you just
You
so
don't, there's no one you have to perform for. You don't even have to do squat. You just
nothing.
do, yeah, it's just, it's the release and surrender,
Yes,
because then you really, it's about playing. It's just like, okay, let's just play and see. And it's not about, okay, I have to do this, I have to perform, I have to be this, I have to be, my boobs have to be right, my waist has to be perfect, blah 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 blah, blah, all that shit that we run around in our head and drive everybody crazy. It's just realizing that that's not what's important. It's what's inside of you that's important. It's what you feel within you that is creating the space to attract more people or someone that is exactly like you, both trying to figure out where you fit and how you fit. And who cares? You may never have sex, It might just be on a higher level. It's just that's where it's going.
yes, absolutely. And also to releasing any of that stuff um,
Yeah,
that isn't going to serve you. That's what I've noticed lately. Even though we're in the or infancy stages, there's a lot of us that are ancient, and right, right, and we just know the the deeper understanding of the wholeness,
yes,
because like we're being more intimate with the one self rather than having to get that validation. And I get so excited, I'll like dance, I'll jump around, do whatever, because when you're able to reflect and love yourself perfect as you are, and know that it's progress and you don't have to um, what you were explaining earlier with having this or that. We're given these bodies because we're made in the image, not to compare or to condemn
exactly.
each
Yeah.
other, and just to love ourselves as we are.
So lovely. We're coming up to 30 minutes. Is there anything you would like to say to pull it all together?
Ooh. Love yourself first, because when you love yourself first, everything falls into place. That's the true connection with everything else around you. It's the connection within you. Absolutely.
And people struggle with when I say love yourself first, and they typically say, how do I do that? So, in closing, how to love yourself is to speak to yourself the way you want to be spoken to treat yourself the way you want to be treated, to respect yourself, to honor and love who you are. And it all will fall into place.
Absolutely. And take a moment with yourself each day, or those times where you're feeling kind of not so balanced or whatever that is. And just come back to the breath and put your hands on your heart. And my favorite is I hug myself because I love myself. There's different techniques that you'll find for yourself. If it's hugging a tree, getting your feet in the ground, whatever that is,
Yeah.
it's just coming back to it. And maybe it's giving yourself a day of self love or spa day. Me, I'm like road trip, whatever that fills that cup of joy. Maybe it's getting a Starbucks coffee or a Timmy's coffee, whatever gives you that joy for
Yeah.
that moment. Oh, revel in it and follow that path of that bliss and joy. If it doesn't light you up inside, then it's probably not for you. if it lights
Perfect.
if it lights you up inside, I would keep going. Yeah,
Well, thank you, lovely one. It was just an awesome time speaking with you and sharing together. And everyone, thank you so much for watching. And yes, I would like to hold these conversations more. So if there's anybody out there who feels in their heart that they have something to share to help the collective, to help people, then by all means reach out and find me.
absolutely. Let's do it because together we are the difference.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Well,
thank
thank
you, everyone. Thank you all for listening, and thank you, lovely Jacqueline.
you.
Until next time, everyone have an incredibly beautiful rest of the day.
See ya.
Bye.